I'm Kevin Coleman with the Sada Post, and we just had a chat with the Ross County Commissioners of the Humane Society did.
Yep.
Can you introduce yourself and then summarize what you said?
So I'm Jen Thomas. I'm the Executive Director for the Ross County Humane Society. We were here today asking the county to extend their support for the campaign. They had previously pledged around $300,000, which they've been paying out over the last 3 years. We've asked them for an additional 3-year commitment of $60,000 a year, and it looks like they voted yes.
And that is the building campaign?
That is for the building. The new building is a 7,500 square foot block foundation built facility. It's scheduled to be completed in September. Its construction started, I think, last year in September.
And I missed the, not ribbon cutting, maybe the shovel?
Yeah, the groundbreaking. We couldn't get the shovel in the ground, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, that happened in May last year.
So what is the, what do you currently have as a facility?
So we currently have a building. It was built in the late 90s. It's a pole barn style building, which we're a wet facility, meaning we clean with a lot of water and chemicals. So the building is about 4,000 square feet, probably 2,500 square feet of that is actual animal space. The rest of it is like random rooms, and it's fallen down around us, quite literally.
And what are you building now?
The one we're building now is 7,500 square feet, natural light, windows, space for the dog wardens, garage, and a dedicated hospital veterinary suite. So just a lot of upgrades for the animals and for the people that are going to come in and adopt or use our facility.
You said every dog is going to have natural light.
Yeah, our current building has no windows in the back. So imagine a box with kennels in it and no light. So there's zero natural light. So the new building has windows throughout, which I guess when the building was built in the 90s, that wasn't something that was important, but it is very important for the mental well-being of dogs to be able to have natural light.
And they're also going to get music.
Music, yeah. There is a study that shows that music is calming to dogs, and we have worked over the last 4 or 5 years to figure out what's the best way to house the dogs, not just how many dogs can we house or we have to house them. So music, natural light, even down to the color choices for the rooms have been taken into account for dogs' well-being.
Do they get to choose the station?
I think it's a set of music, I believe. But I mean, we can probably put in maybe some of them like AC/DC and some of them like Mozart.
We need to tell her.
You said that this is going to be a state-of-the-art facility.
Yeah, I think it will be one of the nicest in Southern Ohio. You also have to take into account we don't have a budget like a Franklin County or the bigger cities. So those shelters are obviously going to be very different. But as far as a smaller county shelter, it will probably be the nicest and most up-to-date in Southern Ohio, at least to date.
What is your relationship with the county?
So the county contracts with us to provide care for the dogs. So the county has a legal responsibility to I've always said that it's the county's job to keep the public safe from dogs, and it's our job to keep dogs safe from the public. And so we kind of work together to make that happen because their goal is one thing, our goal is another, but they're intertwined. So they contract with us because they don't have a facility for us to provide care for all the dogs that they're required to take in by law.
And then there's the dog warden in the mix.
So the dog warden and the Humane Society are two separate entities who work together. So again, the dog warden is more about enforcing laws and keeping people safe from dogs in the community, and the Humane Society is about providing care for those dogs and finding them homes.
And it doesn't always work out smoothly.
It doesn't. There are a lot of, I told them, I spoke to several different counties about our relationship that we have, because it's not a common relationship for a private nonprofit to partner with a county entity and be able to do what we do, which I think we do pretty successfully. The community, I think, is at large is pretty happy. So it's just a definite balance of doing what we do to work together for the greater good of the community and the dogs.
And you're even taking stress from other counties.
So I said we get a lot of calls from people in other counties because their county won't take strays, and I'm not disparaging what their process is. However, by law, the county has the responsibility to take in strays regardless of whether they have space or not. And so we get a lot of those calls because we don't turn away our strays. And so people know or think that we'll take dogs, which we can't take dogs as strays from out of county.
So what are some of the numbers of the dogs that you see per year?
We take in between 1,000 and 1,200 dogs every year. It's usually in the 11 to 1,200 range. I mean, honestly, it just depends on the year. In 2020, we took in a ton of dogs. We also adopted a ton of dogs, and then as the pandemic has ended and things are progressing, we're now seeing more and more dogs coming in because of the back from people losing their jobs or people losing their homes or just financial hardships right now in the community. People can't keep their pets, so they look to us as a resource for the places for those dogs to go.
Is it getting worse?
It is getting worse, and I don't think it's going to get better, at least not in the near future. So we do the best we can with what we've got, and hopefully we make the community proud, but it's a lot of pressure. My staff is a staff of 7 people caring for 1,200 dogs a year. So, and one of them, me, is not direct animal care. So it's about between a $500,000 and $700,000 a year budget that we spend to take care of animals, to pay our staff, to pay our insurance, to pay for medical care, to pay for all of the things that are required to run for shelter.
And how much does the county contribute towards that?
So the county, we are contracted with them. They provide us $10,000 every month for care of the animals. It's roughly around a third of what we do, and we take in about half of the dogs we take in are from the dog warden.
And then what are the numbers for the new building?
The new building is the same. Our
cost.
Oh, our cost. We think that they're, in all honesty, I think they're going to be a little increased. I don't think that it's going to be a lot because the building we have now is so insufficient in what we do. It's going to cost us less, I think, to heat and cool the building, because right now we're heating and cooling a building where it's just getting out through if you've been to our facility, the bottom of the structure is rusted from the ground. This insulation has been torn out by birds, so there's no insulation. So I think we're going to have a little increase, but I don't think it's going to be as much as we think, because the building is going to be much more energy efficient than our current building.
Okay, maybe I asked the wrong question.
Okay.
The cost in building.
Oh, in building?
Your
About
new building.
$2.9 million is the cost. Is that what you're asking? So the new building, the cost for construction right now is about 2.9. We started at about 2.1 or 2.2 several years ago, but as the cost of things have went up, and we ran into some issues with the EPA because of the waste that we produce with having animals, we're up to about 2.9, and our contractor has assured us that's the final number. So.
But this again will be state-of-the-art for a generation.
I think this building will last long beyond my tenure at the Humane Society, and I hope that in 20 or 30 years that there's not somebody else standing here having the same conversation. But we've taken every measure to make sure that doesn't happen, whether that's the architect that we consulted with that's doing our stuff. He builds animal hospitals and shelters. We've consulted with Gigi's. They're an animal shelter in Canal Winchester. Our building is actually modeled after theirs. And they kind of did the work to get all of the information as to what is going to be the best for animal care, and they paid to get that, and they gave it to us. So we have a really good partnership with them. They're great to the shelter. They're great to Ross County. They take a lot of our dogs that come into the shelter, and they provide them with veterinary care, and then they adopt them out. So we've taken all of those things into account as to we want this to last as long as possible. The building we have now was definitely, it's reached its lifespan, and its lifespan is over. It's served us well. I mean, I think in my tenure there, we've probably taken in 15,000 dogs or more, and that's a lot of dogs we're a pretty small community and a pretty small staff. So
that might be a good one for.
And how have the commissioners supported the building campaign? What they decide?
The commissioners have been, since I started, have been wonderful to the Humane Society. They're always supportive of what we do. Again, like I said, our goals are very different. Their goals are one thing, our goal is another, and they've always been really responsive when we've asked for help, or when we've had conversations with them about this building. Like, it's not just for us. It's not for the Humane Society. It's for everybody, including the county and the city and all of the residents in Ross County.
And people would like.
Financially, how have they supported, and what do they decide to do?
Oh, for this, initially they gave us $300,000 over 5 years, so $60,000 a year. They've paid us 3 of those years. We have not got our 2025 yet. We asked them to extend it out 3 years, another $60,000 each year, so another $180,000 on top of the 3 they already gave us, so $480,000.
Which they did that without hesitation.
They did without hesitation, and I almost cried, but I knew that was going to be I hope that was going to be the outcome, but it didn't surprise me. Like I said, they've always been very supportive of what we do. We've worked together.
How can people learn more?
They can stop out to the shelter if they would like. They can visit our website, which is www.rosscountyhumanesociety.org. There is a menu item. It says Capital Campaign, and there's a lovely video of me with pictures of the shelter and videos and telling people how they can get involved if they want to donate. We're about $400,000 short of completing the building with no debt. So we're trying to pay for it without having to take out loans, which I think we're going to do. So.
And you said you've had some sizable donations.
We have had some pretty sizable donations. 350,000, 300,000, 750,000 from one individual standing over there, and everybody in the community has just been really supportive. I think we've had around 500 or 600 total donors. The majority of the donors have donated under $500, but we do have quite a few that have given over that. So
I saw him at Taylor's, but he was with people and
can I think of what else? Again, there's a difference between you and the dog warden.
yes.
So if people want to, if they find a loose dog, they call the dog warden.
They would call the dog warden, yes. If you find a loose dog, or there's a dog bite, or there's a dog in livestock, you would call the Ross County dog warden. They would then dispatch themselves out to the wherever the dog is. They would pick the dog up. They then transport the dog back to the Humane Society. They don't have their own facility, so we are their facility. So anything that needs to happen, if the dog needs medical care, they're going to, radio us. They're going to say, hey, we're coming in with 3 dogs. One of them got hit by a car, and we'll get, a transport ready to get it to a vet's office or things like that. So our goal is to rehome the animals, and their goal is to bring them in.
So if someone instead wants to get a dog taken care of, if they want to get a dog,
they would come to us. Yeah, the dog warden doesn't adopt dogs out. We would do the adoption. So we have a staff of, like I said, 7 people. We do behavioral assessments. We do medical assessments. We're trying to send out safe, happy, healthy pets back into the community. So that's really important to us as well. We are a smart shelter, and it means saving more animals responsibly. And we basically are taking a holistic view of, is this dog going to be safe to send back out into the community? Is this dog healthy to send out into the community? So I'm really proud of that too.
Any other thoughts?
I just am very appreciative for the county for all the support they've always given us, and the community as a whole, I think, really appreciates what we do, and that means a lot to me. I've been doing this for 10 years, so it's a lot of things have changed in 10 years, but the support from the community has pretty much remained the same.
And what is the timeline for your new building?
So we started planning in 2020. We were going to actually remodel the building we have, and then COVID happened, because at that point that's what we had access to. And then we had a donor that came and he said, why are you putting lipstick on a pig? And I said, well, do you have $2 million to build a new building? And he said, well, we can get it. And I said, okay, well, let's do it. And so we've been raising money behind the scenes since then. The construction started in, I believe, September last year or August, and the completion date is supposed to be September of this year. You're welcome to come out and see. Their construction's already happening.
When we had
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
invited me